stepped out of a doorway, his thin arms raised high in a show of peace. "I bring you the caballo, por favor, guardabosques," he said in a mix of Spanish and broken English. He stepped sideways in worn sandals toward the horse in the middle of the street. "Sí, gracias. Pero tan lentamente, señor," the ranger replied in stiff Spanish, thanking him for his help and at the same time cautioning him to move slowly. Hell or no hell, Sam knew that in his job death could strike just as swiftly from beneath a faded serape as it could from a holster, or a business vest, or a lady's handbag. Death observed no borders and no age, and it gave no warning. But enough of that. Death had just come and gone, for now anyway, he hoped. Stepping toward him with the horse's reins in hand, the old man offered a thin, cautious smile and said with a slight shrug, "Lentamente, señor. How else can an old man like me move except slowly?" "Gracias," Sam said, taking the reins as the old man held them out to him. His eyes moved up and down the man, seeing a battered tin star pinned onto his serape, but no sign of a gun butt protruding at his thin waist, and more important, there was no sign of ill intent in the time-weathered eyes. "You are the town sheriff, the guardia?" he asked the old man, nodding for him to lower his hands. "Sí, I am Guardia Ramon Rayos." His right hand brushed against the badge. "Then I think I owe you an apology, Guardia Rayos," Sam said. "I didn't know there was a lawman in San Miguel, else I would have come to you first thing, in respect for your office." He paused, then said, "I should have asked around first." "If you did not know, you did not know." The Mexican lawman shrugged, resolving the matter. "I have been a lawman for all of my life, but I have been guardia for only a short time." But Sam knew that his show of respect did matter. They were both lawmen. Each owed the other respect. "I'm glad to see San Miguel finally has someone to uphold the law," he said. "Do you know this man?" He nodded at the body on the ground. "No, guardabosques. I mean, ranger," he replied, turning his words from Spanish to English for the ranger's sake. "Should you ask if I or anyone in San Miguel would seek to avenge his death, I must tell you no." He shook his head slowly as he spoke, looking down at the body in the dirt. "And we will miss neither him nor his money, which he threw around so loosely these days he's spent here." He paused, and then, as if reconsidering, said, "Well, perhaps we will miss his money, but not him." He looked back up at the ranger and asked, as if already knowing the answer, "He's a bad one, no? A man wanted for breaking the law in your country?" "Si, he was a bad one," Sam answered. "He robbed and murdered a young couple back east, then fled west, robbing and killing many more before he crossed the border." The old Mexican lawman shook his head slowly. "And he brings himself here as if God has forgiven him and he can start his life anew." "Something like that, I suppose," said Sam. "But it wouldn't be long before he'd be back up to his old ways, if he hadn't started already. Here in San Miguel, he has been quiet and has kept to himself. Had he not been so, I would have chased him from among us." Sam looked at him closer, deciding that the old man still had some iron in him. Seeing the ranger's appraising gaze, Rayos said, "He would not be the first man I chased away, or shot if I had to." He nodded at Fadden's body. "This one made no trouble. He drank much wine and mezcal in the cantina. He spent time with women folk who have befriended him only for his money. Yet always he has appeared to be a lonely and haunted man." "Yep," said Sam. "His kind often appear that way when called upon to show some restraint. They don't feel natural unless they're killing and plundering and running wild." "I have heard of you," the old man said, as if recognition had just come to him. He touched a long, knobby finger to his temple. "You are the ranger who rides the badlands, who killed the outlaw they called Junior Lake. You killed him and his gang." "That was a long time ago,"